I'm out of the way now.
Hello, what are you doing?
Hello.
Just said we talk about the trip for the cycling trip for anyone who's interested in doing maybe something like it. I highly recommend doing it. It kind of don't really think about it too much and just go for it, like, because Paul and I here, we were pretty much we had done absolutely no cycling before we started the trip. We didn't own any bikes, and we just purchased them 2 weeks before we left for Thailand. And I did maybe 100 kilometers in Ireland before I left, and Paul did pretty much zip, didn't you?
I did about 10.
10, yeah. And I think doing it that way is a pretty good idea because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And the first few days of it were absolute torture. We didn't really have videos to show you back then because we didn't know how to work them, but the first 3 or 4 days were torture altogether. We were just so afraid of what was ahead of us. We did 70 kilometers the first day, and then the second day was just absolute torture. And then the third day, wasn't it? The third day?
Third day was even more torture.
Yeah, we pretty much broke. I think it was it the second day we did our first hill, and it was...
Yeah, it wasn't that bad a climb.
Yeah.
It was about 200 or 300 meters of a climb, and it's pretty steep. But when we got to the top, I think we even questioned why we were on this trip, why we bought the bikes, and what we were up to. You know, we were really worried because we'd only done something like maybe 100, maybe 200 kilometers into our big 13,000 kilometer trip, and we were just very, very scared, very worried about it. But yeah, we managed to pull through, and you know, we're still going, we're motoring, and I think what are we into it now? Nearly 7,000 kilometers. So.
Yeah, I think it started getting easier. Maybe about 800 kilometers into it is when we started hitting a roll, and like
don't start in low. That's probably my advice.
Yeah.
Low, you don't climb hills, you climb mountains.
You climb mountains, so if anyone tells you Low is beautiful, Low is not. Low is very, very mountainous.
Yeah, it's beautiful if you're on a bus, but
yeah.
on a bicycle.
No, it's not too beautiful on the bus. It's quite bumpy.
God.
But we saw probably our most touring cyclists in Low. They were just doing it for 2 weeks, and I think that's a big thing.
I think like reflecting back on it, Low was probably the most challenging, but I suppose the fact that we met all these tours made it a little bit more easier on us.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think a big thing with I think they were having a lot easier time with it because they were only on a 2 week trip and they didn't have a lot of gear, and we at the start of it had like all kinds of bits and pieces on our bike. And we quickly, I'd say by Low, we had shedded everything that we didn't
guitars
need,
and all that sort of things.
2 guitars gone,
shoes, jeans, a lot of stuff that we didn't really need.
Spare clothes. What else was there? We had hammocks, which we wrote about in the blog. They were a disaster. We didn't sleep very much in them. But yeah, it's anyone who's in. We would recommend it all of us when we're doing this.
Definitely.
I'd recommend that if you were going to do this, research exactly the sort of the climates you're going to be venturing into.
The winds.
Well, maybe not the climates in the sense that if it's a warm country, you will need less clothes. You know, if you're going to camp, obviously you need your camping gear. But if you make a concerted effort to do hostels, you don't need camping gear, so that's going to reduce and minimise all your
an awful lot.
An awful lot of your weight. But good, you know, you've seen our pannier bags there a while ago, so, you know, I recommend, I don't know, maybe if you're going light, maybe possibly just bring 2, but, you know, if you're going heavy duty, take the 4, but don't pack them as much.
Well, it's all positive. I mean, cycling is God, you know, as the lads said at the start, we weren't really, we were kind of amateurs at it, but, you know, everything about it is great, you know, it's a great way of seeing the countryside, meeting people, being on roads that most tourists haven't travelled. You know, I suppose it's cheap as well. You know, you wouldn't all you eat is fruit, and you might have the odd drink, and then accommodation is usually cheap. You know, so I mean, and then obviously travel as well is free because you're on your own bicycle. You know, so we found our expenses as well have been kept very low. You know, so you know, that's definitely a plus factor, and also you're keeping fit at the same time, you know. So
yeah, I think the fitness thing is quite big. Like Michael had quite a big spare chin, and it's gone.
Yeah, I had a chin underneath. underneath my beard, and a double chin underneath my beard. And when I got rid of the beard, I was shocked to see that it was gone. And now look as good as ever, you know.
Yeah, and there's a website called Crazy Guy on a Bike. That's kind of a blog. You know, it's a free blog space for anyone who does cycling, and you can research all kinds of different trips that people have done, and that's been a really good wealth of information. So that's definitely a good thing. But is there any major pieces of advice you'd say to anyone if they were thinking about doing?
Yeah, research the countries, because I mean we've gone through 7 countries, and every single country is so different. The second you get over a border, it's just completely different. So I mean, research the countries and whatever I suppose tickles your fancy, you know.
If you're going to India, one thing that's guaranteed is you're going to get the squits. So that's one thing we all
and a lot of attention
firmly established quickly. So
to break down the countries, I suppose. Will we do that? 7 countries. Thailand was beautiful. The people were amazing. Lao countryside was beautiful. The cycling was hard.
Probably scarce.
People were shy.
China, very nice people. The cycling was good.
Struggling with English a little through Lao and China. Let me just add.
Nepal. First part of Nepal was beautiful, Kathmandu, and then we went to Pokhara. It was very nice. You know, the people are lovely. And then India, I suppose.
India was interesting. I don't think we can comment correctly on how it was.
Well, I suppose India, you know, we obviously take the routes we take because of the direction we want to go home and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you know, it was hard to find sort of time for ourselves in India because of the concentration of people. So everyone was coming up to us and became a little overbearing at times. But it was dirty, to be fair.
India had a lot of rubbish.
Kind of, you know, and
off-putting.
I think a lot of people seem to love India, but I think like our problem with it was we stayed in the highways because we were trying to get out of there quickly because we had to organise all kinds of visas and whatnot for Pakistan and Iran. So I think that was a big problem with us. It was hard to enjoy it because like on the highways there was a lot of annoying people and it's dirty and whatnot. So like that was
and then on to Pakistan. I suppose we were very surprised. We were kind of worried going in there, you know, with all the stuff you hear in the news about Pakistan, but they're very nice people, very hospitable.
Pakistan, like we camped quite a couple of times there.
3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. That was really enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. Probably the best camping we've ever done.
Yeah, and obviously we've obviously read about the Balochistan region. We've been chaperoned through there, so the interesting experience being given guided tours and guarded escorts through Zahedan and into Iran.
Yeah, then Iran. It was the longest we've ever been in one country, and God, it was brilliant. We enjoyed every minute of it. Iran
absolutely,
was
totally recommended to anyone.
Definitely a nice cycling country as well.
Unfortunately, it's not as easy to get into and out of. I suppose, you know, the countries around it don't promote it like, but it's definitely for anyone. It's if you know, even not cycling a bike, to go and visit it, it's a lovely country.
Yeah, the freezing of I suppose monies going in and out of Iran is quite frustrating as well, because we had to, believe it or not, we had to carry quite a large quantity of cash from Pakistan into Iran, which was quite an experience.
Yeah,
we had about 600 euros worth of
which is like
Iranian riyals.
It equates to about that size of a bundle of money.
Yeah, I've never seen as much money in my life.
Yeah, it was huge.
So that was a nervous bus ride, because we've heard of people being robbed, and if you've been seen by money changers, etc. So
yeah, worried about that.
But on one thing anyway, final note from me anyways, if I'd highly recommend doing cycling, I'd probably recommend maybe doing 2 weeks of a stint first of all to see if you like it, and I think 2 weeks is nice, you know. I think it'd be lovely. Maybe in Southeast Asia is probably the nicest place to go.
Yeah, I think we have like ourselves. We have. I think it's going to take us 6 months. More than likely, we know that by now. It's going to take us 6 months to do the cycle trip. Maybe a bit too long, and sometimes we do rush a small bit to get somewhere, you know. And I think cycling, you got to take your time and be very, very, very calm and cool about it. So just enjoy it as much as you can. But I'm definitely, personally anyway, I know the lads are the same. I'm definitely going to do a cycle trip again after this, but and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take a break for a while.
Not straight away, obviously.
Straight away, I won't do the round the world trip just yet. But like on I suppose bicycle note, like we've you see the bicycles we have, they're obviously good quality bicycles with proper gear ratios and all that sort of jazz. But we go on about seats and stuff. I'm happy enough with my seat. It hasn't really caused it. It gave us a little bit of jib there for the first couple of weeks. A couple of bruises around the buttocks region and the gluteus maximus and all that sort of stuff. But the bicycles have held up.
Bicycles have been brilliant.
Yeah, I think as Paul was saying, we have had a few comments about the seats and the saddle pains and whatnot. I think funnily enough, the thing about them is I don't think they ever go away. I think everything was fine. I was fine for a few months, and lately again I've been
I was sore today.
Yeah, sore today. So it's never gone. You're always. It can always come
buttocks
up and literally bite you in the ass.
Yeah, buttocks, funny thing.
Yeah. But you get over that. You kind of just forget about it and pedal on.
You squeeze tight and you just get back on.
Yeah. Put on Kristen Berg and you don't think about it.
Copious amounts of.
But then for the final trip anyway, we've got just over probably 2.5 months to go, and we have a fairly tight schedule. We want to be back in July, and I think it's going to be pretty much try to get as many 100-kilometre days going as much as we can, and a few 120s, and then drop down to 80 as well. A few days off, not a whole pile, and hopefully we'll be back by July.
Yeah, we'll be out of Turkey maybe the start of when May, maybe the 5th or 6th of May.
A bit later.
Maybe a bit later, and then we
down into Greece.
We got Greece, hopefully Albania, wherever it is. We got Montenegro, we got Croatia, Austria, Germany, and then we're I don't know. We'll see as it goes,
it'll be pretty exciting. I'm sure there'll be a couple of people maybe making some guest appearances, and it's going to be pretty fun. So I'd say watch this space. I know it's going to be a little hectic, but I'd say the European leg of the tour is going to be good fun.
We got a couple of things planned, so keep an eye on us.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. It's going to get pretty. It's
We're
going to get pretty
interesting
hot.
people. We're pretty interesting.
Well, am I?
Well,
You're a cool guy.
I'm not.
Cool. Brian.
We have to talk.
Alright.
You alright? Cut it! That wasn't bad, didn't it?